you are doing, and delighted to welcome Farnaz Fazaipour to the show. Farnaz, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Now, you have launched Frontline NHS Fund with your sister and two childhood friends. How much have you raised so far?
I checked yesterday, we were at 55,000.
Wow,
Yes.
wow, that's incredible. Tell us what you did and how you did it.
So we started quite at the beginning of the lockdown, and we wanted to do something to basically help from our positions. And we started by responding to specific requests from the frontline staff of the two hospitals that are closest to us, which were Royal Brompton Hospital and Chelsea Westminster. And what we wanted to do was to actually hear from them what they wanted and then deliver it to the hospital for them. So we started off by filling up the on-site supermarket, which they had at the hospitals, so that the staff can just go down and pick up what they would have tried to buy in supermarkets. That at that time, everything was running out and people were panic buying. So that was quite helpful. Then we started to get into, we set up an email address so they could actually email us and say, you know, can I have shaving cream? Can I have razors? So we kind of just tried to respond to it. And as the time went on, these requests changed. And I think one of the most disturbing things we got asked to do was to provide tablets, because the patients who were really critical wanted to have a way of communicating and saying goodbye to their relatives. And for us, that was just shocking.
Me. But
shocking.
You know, this is incredible what you've done, but it came from a very personal reason, really, because wasn't your father in intensive care?
So our father was at the Royal Brompton Hospital intensive care unit for 3 months back in 2017. So we know the hospital and the staff and how things work there really intimately. So we felt that we'd be able to be really effective and not to waste resources. So that's kind of what inspired my sister and I and our other friends. You know, one of them, Layla, who really wanted to just do something, and she kind of spearheaded the whole thing and organized us all into delivering what we can as individuals. And yes, I mean, we've had access to everybody up and down the hospital, and they've all been so incredibly supportive of what we're trying to do, from the director of the hospital right down to the staff that receive the deliveries from us every day.
It's across the board, though, because you know it's everything from sanitary pads, which of course are vital to be able to get hold of, and an iPad so people can say goodbye to their loved ones. I mean, it's utterly heartbreaking, but this is the reality of the new world that we're living in, isn't it?
It is. And actually what's really, really humbling is how quickly the community respond. So, you know, we're just one of hundreds of thousands of people who are helping. But what we found is just as soon as we figured out what was required, it wasn't just us, but so many other people wanted to actually also come in and help. So we decided to start reaching out to other hospitals that are not necessarily in our vicinity that may be also suffering, and we've now expanded it to another 4 groups of hospitals, and we've budgeted for what money we've got left, and we think we can continue for another 3 to 4 weeks comfortably. And, you know, if anything specific comes up, then we'll go back and try and raise more funds for what's required by the frontline staff.
Now, how can people help you to help everybody else? Because what you're doing is really incredible. As you said, £55,000 is a vast amount of money. And thank you on behalf of all the people that you're helping. It really is quite something. But how can all of us help you to help everybody else?
I mean, if there's any specific request from hospital frontline staff in central London hospitals that needs addressing, then I think that would be one way of bringing it to our attention. And then obviously if we need to raise more funds, we'll go back and push for that. And sharing our link, you know, every penny counts.
And what is that? What is your link? How do people find you online?
You can actually just go to, we set up a forwarding address. So frontlinenhsfund.com will go to our funding page, which is on GoFundMe, but that's just an easier way of getting to it. And, you know, who knows what will be the next request, but hopefully we're coming down to a quieter period in all of this that's been going on.
Well, that would be wonderful, but I think everybody, as they say, has to live each day. So at the moment, what you're doing is vitally important. Looking at it as a whole now, as you've heard what people need, what is the thing that has really sort of affected you most, and you just think, wow, we really have helped here?
Well, having spent so much time at the hospital back in 2017, one of the things that we used to really, really appreciate doing was at the end of the shift, these people are so exhausted, and bringing them treats that really hit the spot at the end of the day, I think is really appreciated. And I think what we've started to do is create these care bags. So instead of having them think about going down to the supermarkets or requesting for things, we sort of preempt what they might need. And we've put together these care bags so that they get distributed directly to the frontline staff. And in there, they've got a combination of treats and, nice smelly things for baths and, basic hygiene things that they might need. And one of the things that we had to source recently, which I think everybody's probably finding difficult to find, was flour. So we've ordered flour, 25-kilo bag flours. I think they're coming from the Cotswolds. And then we've got to organize to have them individually put into containers for people to take home. So I think the care bags are really satisfying because it's kind of spoiling them a little bit as opposed to only just giving them this necessity.
See, I think that's important. And spoiling them is what they all need. Every single person who works at the NHS or delivery drivers or supermarket, people who work in the supermarkets and the cleaners and all the people that seem to have been treated not as well in the past, just to be treated it's not just about clapping them. It's not just about saying thank you, but it's giving them those things that make them remember how much we appreciate them. So what you're doing is wonderful. Please remind everybody how they can find you on social media again, please.
So it's frontlinenhsfund.com.
Wonderful. Lovely to speak to you, and please carry on doing what you're doing so
Thank you.
beautifully. It's wonderful. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you,
Thank you
Farnaz.
very much. Thanks a lot.